Hello, Ron Briggs, Blackmore, Vale Honey, and welcome back to the channel to what is the February edition of my Another Year in Beekeeping. Yeah, so we're back. What a difference a week makes. We've just got back from Morocco, day 4 yesterday. So a well needed break, bit of winter sunshine and not have to think about bees or anything else for a week, which is really cool. Although we did get up to that Inzerki Apiary, which is really cool. And you'd have seen there'll be another video which has come out by now, all about that, which, yeah, if you ever get a chance to go to Morocco, go and visit it for sure. And whilst we're on that subject, Paul Hind, I don't know if you watch his channel out at Denby Honey. He's a really enthusiastic beekeeper. He's become a bit of a mate. He was the one that recommended that hotel and everything in Morocco, and we had a great time. So thanks for that, Paul. And if you've not checked out his YouTube channel yet, go and check it out. Denby Honey, it's well worth a watch. So we are back to it now. So we are now back in the out apiary. All we're doing, just going to go down the line and checking some feeding. I'm not sure what temperature is. Quite chilly, but I've noticed that both the pollies are flying, but nothing seems to be coming out of the wooden ones. And the other thing we're going to try this time is we managed to pick up some of these Hive Alive fondant. Now, I've never used anything other than standard fondant, never. And I've still got a couple of tubs of that left. So, to me, it's always been, am I being sold snake oil, or is this stuff really work? Now, there's so much technology and science got into it. There must be something. But how do we, certainly as hobby beekeepers or even semi-commercial, know? Because if you remember, when we had all the nukes here, we had 4 nukes there, all from the same queen, and yet they were different. All 4 of them were different, and one of them was massively different. Because obviously we don't know what the drones they're mating with or anything like that. So it's quite difficult to test the bees, isn't it? It's quite difficult to say, well, was it that supplement I gave them that's done them really well, or was it going to be like that anyway? We don't know. So I've never gone down that line before, because I've always found I like to see things for myself, and if I put that on one hive and that on another hive, is it the bees? Is it the food? What's the difference? I don't know. Anyway, we gave these, we picked these up fairly cheap. So I think it's cost me about 20 pence more than one of these. So we thought we'd give it a go. And that brings me on quite nicely to pollen patties that a lot of people put on in the spring. So you'll put on a pollen patty if you want to build your colonies up for a spring harvest. So that's generally done in the spring if you want to get them onto the rape. You give them the pollen patties. Once the pollen's going in, they assume that its systems go, and they'll build up quite rapidly, so that when the rape or whatever crop you want to target comes out, they're built up big and strong and ready for it. I do occasionally put pollen patties on, but it depends what I'm doing. So up here this year, I might put some pollen patties on again, only because I've reduced the number of hives down, because I've still got set honey left from last year, and even some ivy set honey. So I'm not really in the market for that much set honey. I don't really need it. So what these girls give me, just as the normal run-of-the-mill things, would probably be enough. But because we're reducing hives, I'm still thinking I might even reduce one more and take one of these hives up to the new apiary and concentrate on a spring floral crop. We might put pollen patties on. I'm not sure yet, but don't read all the vlogs as they're going at the moment saying, oh, I must get these pollen patties on and build my colonies up and make them strong for the spring. You don't really need it unless you are targeting a specific crop. Right, so it's the same as before. It's going to be straightforward. Going to run down the line, check if they need feed. If they need feed, I'm going to feed them, and that's all we're doing today. If there's anything of interest, I'll bring you in to have a look. So that was nice and simple. 15 minutes is all I've been here, just going through the hives. Interesting, first thing is, I've got a hive tool. because I'm in the work truck and I'm working today, so it was just a quick one during my lunch hour really. So screwdriver had to be used, so we need to make sure we get that cleaned off. So yeah, nothing to report really. They're all doing really well. Interestingly, going back to this the polys versus the wood, I've got 3 polys here, and all 3 of them, the bees are on the landing board doing a bit of flying. You know, they're obviously out foraging for a bit of water or something like that. And the wooden ones, not so at all. And likewise, when you get into the top of the feeders, they're on the fondant. So the ones in the polys are going through that fondant. Whereas when you look inside the wooden ones, you can see they're all in cluster and hardly moving at all, which is all to do with the insulation value. So it's really, really interesting. So I'm not sure still which way round's best. Is it better for them to be in cluster and not eating the food because there isn't so much for them to forage on at the moment? Or do we want them out and about flying and going through it? I don't know. But what we will note is, because I know for a fact that some of these queens here have got the same mother. So I'll need to check the my records, but I'm pretty sure that the green one and the blue and green one this year, the wooden one and the poly, have got the same mother. So coming out of winter, the only thing that's really been different to those, because if I remember rightly, there was sort of similar amount of brood going into winter, etc., is one's in a poly and one's in a wooden. So that's going to be really interesting in the spring, to when we pull the frames out, to see which one has fared better. Because at the moment, I'm leaning towards poly. And I say that, it's just that going forward in the future, what hives do I buy, etc. So there we are. Right, so that's that one done. We'll do the home apiary and the new apiary, we'll do that tomorrow. Hello, so it's the 5th of February. It was supposed to be another rainy day today, but thundery showers. But we've had a tiny few showers, but in the main it's been like this, which is great. It's 13 degrees, so we're up at the new apiary. I'll show you all the bees are flying from every single colony, which is lovely to see. But the main reason we're up here today, as well as checking all the fondants, obviously, is we need to sort that nuke out over there. Well, I'll talk about that in a moment. So, nuke flying, this one well and truly flying, and they're bringing pollen in, which I'd expect to now because the snowdrops have been out for a while now, and also the catkins are out on the hazel. That one is flying, which is nice. Not as busy, it is as busy. Look, the wooden one's going, which is lovely to see. What about over here? This one's in the shade a bit now, so it's probably cooled down a bit. But it was flying just now. There you go. And same with that one, that's kind of in the shade now, but that was flying. Beautiful. And over here, these ones over this side, where it gets the sun a bit longer. And look. Which is just lovely to see, isn't it? So we've come on up here to the new apiary today because we obviously just going to check all the fondant and all the feeds, and it's lovely to see them all flying. But I'm hoping the rain's going to stay off because we're going to sort out this hive today. So if you remember me telling you about this one last week, this was the one where all the bees have gone into the roof. Let me show you. So what's happened here, it's a Maysmore, and it's got a Maysmore feeder on the top of it. So the Maysmore feeder doesn't have the bung in the middle to allow you to feed fondant. So what I've done, rather foolishly, is I've just removed, I'll show you when we go in there, removed one piece of the perspex and a bit off the side, and I put fondant in the top. Trouble was, when I did my oxalic acid, that sent all the bees up into the roof. And you see the roof on these is quite deep compared to, say, the roofs on the BS honeybee are quite narrow. So there's a lot of bees in the roof of that, and I need to get them back down into here. And that's what the plan is for today. Now this gives me an opportunity to reiterate something. Okay, so I'm not saying that my beekeeping is the right way to do it. I'm not saying my beekeeping is the way you should do it. It's my beekeeping is the way that I do it. And there's so many different varying factors on everybody's bees and everybody's knowledge and what people are trying to achieve. And there's so many different ways to achieve the same results by doing it a different way. And this is going to be a classic example of that. And it's the old adage, isn't it? If you ask 3 beekeepers how to do something, you're going to get 4 different answers. So we need to get these bees from the top here back into the box. So as I see it, I've got 4 options actually. So option 1 is I don't do anything. I'm not really happy about that, because if all these bees stop in the roof, they'll start building comb in there, the queen's in there, they might run out of space, and it could get a bit tricky. So let's take the opportunity to do something about it now, rather than waiting until later in the spring. The only downside of that means I've got to do something now, rather than waiting for the spring, and we don't like doing any manipulations at this time of year. So my 3 options are: 1, lift up the feeder, look into the bottom and see what it's like for bees in there. If there's next to no bees in there, we can just tap the lot back down into that bottom box, and they'll all go back in and life should be good. Not so keen on that, because I've got a lot of bees to get into a small space, and I don't want them to be all falling over into this mud and water and everything else. I want all the bees to go inside. So that gives me option 2. Option 2, do I put them into a full-size colony? Because they're going to go to a full-size colony in the spring anyway. So do we just take the opportunity to do that now and maybe dummy it down? So just put them from 6 to 9 frames, dummy it down at the back. As long as they can still get to the feeder and we can feed them, life's good. So that's one option. The option I'm going to go for, however, is one that I normally start my nukes off at this time of year, or in the spring anyway. Let me show you. So this is my BS honeybee feeder with the bung inside of it. Ignore this yellow on here. I've lost one of the perspex things that goes in the top. I think it's still in the bottom of the barrel that's got the chemical in it for cleaning all the pollen. I hope that's where it is anyway. So we got that. So we don't need the bung, because we're still going to be feeding our fondant through there. And then I've got these. Now, if I remember rightly, I hope I'm right in saying, BS honeybees don't make these. I think Maysmore do, or a Bellow do. One of them do. But they all fit. They all interlock nicely. So this is just an extension box. So this is an extension box. You see the frames in the bottom there and the top, which will sit on top of your nuke. And it's exactly the right size. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to literally have a look inside the top there, because just to see what just have a very quick look, see what's going on in this bottom box. And then I'm simply going to put this box on the top. I'm then going to remove all the frames from that box, and that's going to give me a nice big void, as in all of this area to knock those bees down into. Then we can put the frames back in, and I'm not worried at this stage that I have got a couple of frames, drawn frames in here, I think, did I? Yeah, and then I'll put I'll put the frames back in again. So theoretically, the bees are still going to come at stock, because that's what they like to do, because that's where the feed's going to be. But as soon as they get opportunity, they'll start drawing this out. Now, unlike having a brood and a half going into the spring, where they end up doing everything in the super and nothing in the brood, and then you've got to do a nadir and swap them around to try and get them right again. This doesn't matter too much, because as they start filling this up, all of these frames, because bear in mind it's 6 and 6, can go into, well, it'll be 11, we'll have to take a frame away, but can all go into a brood box. So that's the plan. That's the way we want to hit it today. So on that, we've got our smoker lit. That smells wonderful. First time of the year lighting a smoker. Shouldn't be going in at this time of year, but it do smell good. So we've got our smoker. It's just a case of getting this. The first thing I want to do is just have a little look. Wow. I'll bring you in and show you this. Are they still all up in there? Yeah. So let me show you what the problem is and what I've got to sort out here. So this is in top, this is in the roof. Can you hear that? Can you see all the bees in there? All in cluster in the roof there. So I've got that. And if we have a look inside on top of the bars as well, you can see that's full of bees as well. So my first, or the original thought was of just knocking them back down. Perhaps wouldn't have been the best idea. So what we need to do is give them a little puff of smoke in there. And then really gently, problem I've got is it's where to put the smoker, because I don't want to put it on the floor because it's soaking wet. Let's try and hold it between my legs. So we'll just take that off there, nice and gentle. We'll put that on there like that. Hopefully you can see the bees on there. And then we'll put that straight on there like that. Nice, 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 nice. Give them a bit of smoke. See plenty of bees in there. Right. Okay. So the next job then is to get all these bees that were in the roof into there. So let me try and show you that as I do it. So nice and gently up with this. Don't want to drop them all. Can you see the cluster of bees in there, look? Now the queen might be in there, we don't know. We're not going to go trying to find her. What we're going to do is... That's it. Right, now we can start putting some of these frames back in. Just nice and gently to start with, because we don't know if the queen's on there, because that's the biggest danger of opening up hives at this time of year, is that you squish the queen. So what I'm doing is I'm just letting the bees drop back down into the bottom box, nice and slowly. And then as we put these in, we're not going to squish her. I mean, she might well be in the bottom, but we don't know, because we're not going to go looking for her. I'll tell you what, to say we're banging these girls around a bit, they are so gentle. Right, so they've still got plenty of fondant. Shake these girls off into there. And that can go on the top there, ready for... Right, now we just got to get these girls in here. Now that might look a bit violent, banging them as hard as that, but it does get them all down in one go. Right, now the rest of these frames can go in. Push them all to the one side, marry them up, which is that way, and then get that feeder on the top. And then we are going to put this maize morb roof back on, which you might think, oh, is that a bit daft because it's big? But now we've got this completely sealed off to the roof, it'll be all right, and I'll save an extra roof to clean when we change the nukes over, and that's it. Simple as that. So it didn't take long, did it? I maintain the fact you don't go into your colonies. You don't go into your colonies at this time of year. Generally speaking, there's no need to. But occasionally, every so often, we need to. And on a day like today, it's not going to hurt them to open them up. You've just got to be... And I think a bee has got in my bee suit, because I can feel it crawling up the inside. So let's hope she's a nice, gentle girl. So that's it, done. So all we've got to do in this apiary now, whip round the rest of them, make sure they've got feed. So let's do it. So, as I mentioned at the tail end of my last video, I've picked up some of these relatively cheap, really, and I'm not 100% sure whether these special feeds work or not, with all the science and the technology that goes into them and all the extra goodness they put in and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Is it snake oil they're trying to sell us? Multi-million-pound industries. There must be something in it. I'm sure there must be something in it, but it's very difficult to tell, isn't it? Because you put two colonies side by side, as much as you try and keep them the same, they're going to be different, because you don't know who the queen's mated with, and how good the colony is, if one's got sickness, what the varroa load is, loads. So, but I managed to pick these up, and they worked out, I don't know, about 50p a feed, more than what it would be with fondant. So I thought I'd give it a go. And I have to say, they're quite easy to use. So from a time management point of view, you're not having to cut up fondant and put it into tubs and everything else. You're just, you've got your tub, you can cut it open, peel it back and put it straight on. Or you can pick up some of these, which are really, really cool. You can just, you use the serrated edge to cut into your pack. You peel that bit back, and then this bit can drop down into your feed hole. So that's really, really cool. Just need to be a bit careful, mind, how you do it. So, for example, this is on one of my full-size colonies. My feeder hole's in the centre, but because I keep my eeks, well, as you're aware, I permanently attach an eek to a crown board, and I always make them about 70 mil. So this is for those that want the technical side of it, this is a 3-inch piece of timber, and as you know, if it comes prepared, what's name is a bit less than 3 inch, so it's about 70 mil, and the insulation I keep in the top is 50 mil. So you can see how thin these packs are. So what actually works with this one is to take the insulation out, put your feeder pack in, and then put your insulation back on top, and because there's plenty of space, it will still fit. So that's what we're doing with those ones. With the nukes, I've fed all my nukes now, so I've only got one to show you. But with the nukes, what I do with that is I put it on one side. So instead of putting it in the middle, like I did for that one, I put it onto one side and fold it in half, and then that fits into the centre of one of those BS honeybees. So yeah, all in all, quite pleased with those. Right, let's carry on. There we are, finished. Lovely to get up to the apiary today. Didn't expect this. Knew I had to get up and sort that nuke out as soon as possible, and knew I had to get up and just check the fondants on them, and I wanted to reduce the amount of time before I come and checked on them, but of course being on holiday for a week, that's put it all back. So it's exactly 2 weeks to the day since we've been up here and checked them. One of them was bone dry, needed more feed, and there's a couple of them that have still got feed left, but we're in a position now, I only just live there, I'll be coming up once a week to check, and that's usually, I check the weather, so I'll be going up one day, Wednesday, Thursday or Friday next week, so it could be 5, 6, 7 days. We're not going into them, we're just checking the fondant. So I know those that have got a bit left are good until we need to change it, so they can eat all the fondant. So that's cool. Some of them didn't need feeding at all, but it was lovely to see every colony flying, every colony is bringing in pollen. See, some of them are foraging for water, which is nice to see. So you think, oh, life's good, we're through the winter, hey, everything's done. Just be careful. This is the danger zone we're coming into now. This is the time you think you've got them through winter and it can all go horribly wrong, because you made sure they had enough feed in the spring. You've made sure you're feeding them, hopefully feeding them the fondant now, and you see them flying and everything's good. But don't forget, the moment that we get a day like today and you see them like today, they're all out foraging. There isn't a huge amount of forage out there, certainly not a lot of nectar. So these girls are going out, expending all that energy for not a lot of return. So this is time of year, they'll start ploughing through that fondant if you're feeding fondant in order to get them through, especially if we get a cold snap. So if we get a cold spell now, don't forget, we've had frost in May before. So, you know, this week could be sunny, next week soaking wet, following week frosty and cold and they can't get out. So they will really start to go through the stores now. So this is the time now you really want to be keeping an eye on them. You can still go once a fortnight if they've got plenty of feed and you know you've only got your two colonies, whatever, and they've got loads of feed on, then you can extend it. But from previous experience, I'm now into once a week, come up just to check they've got food on them and life's all good and they've not been blown over in the storms. Right, that's it. That went really, really well, swapping that nuke over. Nice to get the smoker on again. So I gave up smoking nearly 7 years ago. So I still love the smell of it. So it's really quite difficult. So obviously the smoker gives me that kick that I need. So yeah, during the season, I'm on 7 smokers a week just to get that kick again. But it's lovely today to get the smoker going and smell it, even though shouldn't really be needing to at this time of year. So that's it done. So that's this Apiary finish. I think because the sun's still out, we'll go and check those 2 little ones at home, and then we'll call it a day. So it's a Saturday the 7th. We're just doing a tinkering. We're just cleaning up a few more boxes and that kind of stuff. Those boxes there, they need scorching and scraping, and they can be added to the pile that needs painting. Because we did all that painting earlier in the year, there isn't much to do, but on the off season, I do like to get that done. We are also putting some of these dirty nukes into sodium hypochlorite, which is in here. That's going on in there. So the other thing we're doing is we've just, let's put some lights on. We have just put some more honey into the warming cabinet, which is our last bucket of what we definitely know is runny honey, which is a little bit of a worry because it means we're going to run out, which is a shame. I'm pretty sure we will run out. We're not going to have enough to take us up to the spring harvest. So we are hoping we get a good floral crop, which is a real shame. We've run out of runny honey. Still got a little bit of set honey left, and so this was I thought it was runny honey, but we either took it off this one off just a bit too late. And it's actually ivy. So we've got ivy mixed with floral honey, which is set, but it actually tastes really, really nice. So quite pleased with that. So we've got quite a few jars of that. We'll jar that up, and I'm sure once we get that out to our customers, that'll sell like hotcakes. So there we are. So that's what we're up to. Let's get on with it. This weather is just awful. We managed to get out this morning and get the dogs out and stay dry. And that's the first time in weeks, but it's all coming again now. And the area's flooded and all this lot's falling on wet ground. I hope this stops soon. Still, that's what it's like at the moment, isn't it? We're getting wetter winters and warmer summers. Perhaps it's something we need to deal with. Right, so we're just in the honey house at the moment. We've just been labelling up some honey ready for the weekend because we've got a talk at the weekend, Saturday morning. We're talking to a group about the honeybee. So I'm looking forward to that. However, I've just run out of tamper labels. So we need to get some more of those ordered. So that's done and ready. Runny honey's just gone through. So we'll get that labelled up, jarred up and labelled up again before the weekend. So that's pretty much all we're doing at the moment. The only good thing about the wet weather is we're getting we're studying for the next exam. So we're getting that done. That's pretty much the last one. The exam I did at the beginning of the year, the biology, hardest one of the lot, module 5. But we managed to scrape through it. So that's passed, that's done, pleased with that. So we're studying for module 6 at the moment. We've already done 7, and then the last one you do is module 8. So we're getting there, which is quite cool. I'm enjoying module 6 actually because it's all about bee behaviour. So you can kind of hang your hat on a lot of that because you already understand a bit about bee behaviour, or a lot about bee behaviour. So when it comes to the biology, it was a whole new, what's going on the inside. I know more now about the inside of a honeybee than I do the inside of a human. But so I found that quite difficult in module 5. But this one is, I'm enjoying this one, which is quite cool. Right, so it's given us time to do a bit of study for that. We've got some, our beginner's course starts in April, and I'm putting it all onto PowerPoint. Because what we do is we'll have about half an hour of theory, and then we go out to the apiary for the rest of the day. So so I think it's 12 sessions. So I'm currently working my way through and putting those onto PowerPoint at the moment. Because at that new honeybee centre, we've got the ability to not bother having a laptop. We can just put the memory stick straight into the projector, and it can stay there and whip it down at the start of every year just to adjust it, which is quite cool. So that's going on at the moment. We're getting that done. And obviously editing and getting the videos out, which is great. So that's what we're up to. Okay, just want to show you this. I've just put out a video, so it'll be about a week old, I guess, by the time this video goes out. But I did a little experiment on how much chemical do you actually need to clean your polys on the back of a comment from one of my subscribers. So he said I was using way too much chemical, so I did a little experiment, and you can watch all that on, did a separate video completely. But the results of that were really interesting, and he was absolutely right, using way too much. So I used to use, so I buy the sodium hypochlorite in 5 litre tubs, 14 to 15%. And I was using a mixture of 5 to 1, so 5 parts water to 1 part sodium hypochlorite. So that 1 tub would do 25 litres. And when you consider about 100 litres in a tub, you can see we were going through quite a lot of that. So anything to make it a bit cheaper, eh? So after I worked it all out on the government guidelines, so I use the government's website, I use university websites to find out what the actual amount was needed. And it worked out to around about, don't forget, I'm not a chemist, I'm not a mathematician, but it worked out to around about 7 millilitres to 1 litre of water, which is just huge. So that's even more than like 10 to 1. So, but however, that didn't quite work when it come to cleaning the polys. The contact time is meant to be 15 to 20 minutes. But what was happening was it wasn't in the liquid long enough to actually soften up the propolis and the wax in order to be able to scrape that off. So anyway, the results were, if you're interested for cleaning your poly, we anything between 50 ml and 100 ml in a litre. So I went for 100 ml because of the amount of hives I've got. If you only got one or two, because you've got to put it through the solution in 24 hours, you see. So if you only got one or two hives, you could probably get it all through in a day, and you could probably be nearer 50 ml than 100 ml. But I worked out that at 100 ml, it needed around about 4 hours for it to come clean. So that's what I worked it out to. So that's what my mixture is now. So it's 10 times less than what it was before. So instead of it costing me £40 to clean all my poly up, it's probably going to cost me about £4, which is great. And I think you'll agree, they do come up quite clean, or certainly clean enough to when you come to reusing them, etc. So well pleased with that. So that's what we're going to be doing from now on. So this is lovely to see. Yeah, a little walk up the line. It's lovely, and it's not that warm today. It's a bit blowing. We've had a bit of rain, but it's just nice to see all the colonies flying. They're all bringing in pollen, so it's just nice, isn't it? But we are in that danger zone still. The weather could change. It's going to get a bit colder again at the weekend, so we just need to make sure they're still all good. That's all we're doing today. A quick heft of all the hives, make sure they've got enough food, and that'll be it. So let's get on with it. So that was nice. Went down the line, had a look in all of them. There's only 5 here now, so flip the lids, have a look. Do they need feed? Heft them, and they're all good. It's just this yellow one again, which was the same last time. It didn't have to get through its food, needs a bit more food. So we're going to try this time. We've got, so this was the dregs of the last crop we took off, and it's just, you know, it's just crystallized and gone solid. So we'll see how they get on with this. See if we'll take that down. Oh, so there we are then. That didn't take too long. I think it's quite, it's fairly quick this time of year when all you're doing is checking the weights and the fondants. Need to put the suit on though, because, or the jacket on, because if you're changing over the fondants, they do all come out. And what I found, I'll show you next time, is, you know, we have them in those microwave containers. Well, the thing with that, if you get a little drawing pin, I found, and you just tilt it, so you just put the drawing pin just inside it, just holds it enough that a bee can squeeze through it. So what happens is when you change the pot, you normally get quite a few bees, then you at the top. If you leave it just like that, it's way too small for them to come in and do anything, but it means they're not all perishing on the top there. So that's cool. We've still got plenty of daylight. We'll go and do, well, I did the new apiary this morning. The weather weren't too clever, so I took the dog for a walk up that way, and we've checked all those. One of them does need fondants. We need that to do. And then we just got the home apiary to do. So let's get on with it. So we're back in the new apiary. If you remember, 2 days ago we were up here. I was walking the dog. It was first thing in the morning, and we had a few bees flying. But today it's like a spring day. Every hive is properly going for it. There's bringing in pollen. I expect they're bringing in nectar, and it's just like a spring day. But it's a danger zone, isn't it? We've got some cold weather coming up. So whilst this is absolutely lovely to see, we've still got to be careful. So we're back up here. We were up here 2 days ago. We had a quick look, so we know which ones we've got to feed. That's all we're doing. We're putting a bit of feed on, a bit of fondant on those that need it, and that's all we're going to do. But before I do that, just let me show you what the hives are doing. So the old mouse guards will be coming off soon. Look at that. Sorry guys, let me come in front of you. How cool is that? Okay, this is what I was trying to explain to you earlier. So you get a lot of bees when you swap your feed over. You get a lot of bees that are in the old container, and you either have to knock them out of the front, but then you're worried they're going to fall on this wet, boggy floor. So all I simply do is with a pin, or in this case, I've just got a stickler. I've just propped one side open. They won't come through that and fill all this area up. But what they will do is when they settle down, they'll all go back in again, which is quite cool. Can you see how these? This one's got its Nasanov. Can you see this one? Bum in the air, look, Nasanov glands going. Yeah, so that's what we do with the feed. So I'm obviously doing something a bit wrong here with these packs. Bear in mind, this is the first time I've used these packs, because this is the second one that I've come across now, and you can see look where the girls have eaten the centre part, but they're not actually getting into the bag itself. So what I think I need to do, I'm not sure, I might have to YouTube it, I guess, but I'll take that the red bit out and I'll push it in the other way so that it opens the bag, and we'll see how they get on with that. So I'll do that. So we've only been up here for not even half an hour, but it's only taken me about 15 minutes to do the actual to actually do the hives and check for feed and everything else. The rest of the time I've just been stood in front of the hives and just been stood amongst it and thinking, yeah, spring is coming, spring is on its way. Every hive is flying, they're bringing in pollen, some of them are on top of the hives bringing in water. It's just beautiful to see. Bear in mind though, it is the danger zone, so we have got some cold weather coming up, so make sure you get your they've got fondant, they've got feed that you're still hefting, because don't forget, in the past we've had frost right up till May. So it is really the most dangerous time of the year for losing colonies. But this colony is all looking good. So as I'm in a nice happy mood now, because I'm in my happy place, I think that'll be a good time to end this particular video, because it's the end of the fortnight, and then perhaps I can get it edited and out this weekend. So again, thanks ever so much for watching. Really hope you're getting something from it, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks then, goodbye.